I'm Bob.
And Megan.
And I like to make stuff, and today she's gonna make
a sofa table.
This is Megan. She's the newest member of our team here at I Like to Make Stuff, and today we're at her house because she's got something she wants to build right here in her living room. So tell us what the deal is.
So we moved in this house a couple years ago, and I got this sectional couch that fits perfectly in this space, but I'm a snacker. I'm always sitting on my couch, I have a snack, I have something to drink, and when you sit here, there's nowhere to put anything. Side tables don't work. We have a toddler, a coffee table doesn't work. Can you imagine a toddler standing on top of a coffee table here? So I want a table that goes directly behind this whole couch that I can put stuff on.
So a really narrow, really long, L-shaped table.
Yes,
all right?
Exactly it.
Okay, we can totally do this, and she doesn't know it yet, but she's actually gonna build this, and I'm just gonna help a little bit. So it's gonna be a very simple table, but are there any like features, any things that it needs to do or have, or anything like that?
Yeah, so my husband's phone dies a lot, so I want to make sure that there's a charger on there. I want a cup holder for the drink because I don't want it to fall over.
Good call.
And then I'd like a plug because I might want to plug in a lamp. I don't know, something fun.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we can do a really simple table with just a few of those features, and it'll go together really quickly. And you can do it.
Yes, I can.
Even if you've never used these tools before. That's the point of this whole thing. We want to show you that she can do it, show her that she can do it, and show you that you can do it. Let's take some measurements and get started. What are you thinking as far as material and like paint color, stain color, any of that type of stuff?
So I want to use pine because I want to stain it and I want it to match my mantle so that it flows with what's already in the room and will go with all my decor.
Okay, awesome. Dimensional lumber would be great here.
Yeah.
Pine's easy to get, and different pre-cut dimensions are going to be the right width, so we just have to cut it to length, basically. Make it very easy to put together. And when you get that stuff at the store, you have to make sure that you get one that's straight. A lot of them will not be straight, they'll be curved in different directions. And if you get that, then you're going to have to fight with it later on. So take the time, find a flat, straight board in the store, and it'll help a lot.
Cool, okay.
Josh and Megan went into Fusion 360 and made a really simple model of this table, and that helps you figure out how much lumber you need to get and what kind of cuts you're gonna have to make and all that type of stuff. We went to the store and got some really nice, flat, non-pressure treated lumber. We've got everything we need, so now we can get to work.
Welcome to my shop, Bob.
So not everybody has a shop. Megan does not have a shop, so we're gonna work in the backyard. I brought some battery-powered tools, just a few things. You don't need much to do this project, so we wanna prove she can do it, anybody can do it.
So I have these tools, I have a circular saw, I have a jigsaw, but I'm not sure what to use, which tool for what type of cut, and I want to make sure that I use it right.
Okay. I brought these from home, but they're basically all the same no matter what brand you have. Circular saw is great for making straight cuts. Even if they're cut at an angle, making a straight cut, this is the one you want to do. If you need to make a curved cut, or if you need to cut a circle out of something, which we're going to do for like the cup holders, you would want to use this because you can actually just like twist your hand. The blade's short, it can easily cut, like turn as it's being cut, whereas this blade is a lot longer, so if you try to turn that, it's going to bind, kick back, you might get hurt. So if you ever make a curve, do it with this one. If you're making straight long cuts, do it with that one.
Got it.
We've also got a drill and a driver, and the drill can be used for both things. I like to have both of these because this is great for drilling holes. This is great for driving in screws. It's got a clutch built into it, so you can stop yourself from over driving a screw in, making it go in too far if you want to. You can kind of do the same thing with this. They usually come in a pair, so if you're only going to buy one, buy the drill.
Got it.
If you can get both, get both.
I thought I was going to be nervous, if I'm being brutally honest, but it feels fine.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I wasn't scared of the blade, I wasn't nervous. I can handle it. So I don't know if you've ever used a sewing machine before. I grew up sewing and quilting with my mom, and whenever you look down at your sewing machine, you have guiding lines just like that on your sewing machine plate. So that's why I feel like I could use that a lot better.
Huh. Awesome.
Yeah.
I would never have seen that.
Okay, so I didn't cut on my line, and I know that that's going to mean that everything's going to be a little wonky, so I want to make sure that I move over just a little bit with the circular saw to make sure that I hit that line directly and not going off.
Now the good thing is, in this case, that this table's not really bearing any weight.
Yeah.
And these legs, even if they don't touch the floor, we can attach them to the wall.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be hidden behind the couch, so that's fine.
Cool. Okay, I'm framing it up specifically this time because I cut too far over the line, and I'd rather make sure that I have that blade kiss right up next to this line rather than over it or in the middle.
Next up, we need to cut the top, and since it's an L, we're joining two pieces together, but then on each end you want a waterfall piece kind of roll over so you see it from the outside, right?
Yep.
That means we need a miter and a bevel cut.
All right, what's a miter? What's a bevel?
So a bevel in this case would be where you have a board like this and you're cutting an angle across it.
Okay. And that'd be for the waterfall edge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then in the corner, we're gonna do a miter, and that's where you would cut a 45-degree angle on two pieces, or an angle on the two pieces, and fit them together into a corner.
Okay.
They're just two different types of cuts, and you'll use the circular saw for both of them.
Cool.
So I would say this is the corner.
Yeah.
You can use this 45-degree angle
Okay.
up against this edge to mark the 45-degree cut,
Okay.
and then slide it down and run the saw along this edge, just like you did on the other cuts. And
Okay.
cut a 45.
Okay.
So you did the miter cut.
Yep.
Next one is the bevel cut. So we need to actually change the angle of the blade to the saw.
Okay.
And so on the front of the saw, you have this little thing right here that you can loosen, and then now you can pivot this whole thing.
Okay.
And so as this runs along, the blade's at a different angle. So you want to get this to kind of 45, right about there. You can see the markings down here, and then just close it up.
Just close it up.
Like that.
Okay.
There's going to be more resistance on this because you're cutting through more wood at an angle, right? Like you lined up the outside of the blade with your piece before, you have to do the same thing to make sure that you're not cutting too far in. Okay. And take your time. Don't try to force it through, because if it gets unperpendicular to this side, it's not going to match up as well. And you can use this, you know, to still run along.
Yeah. What are we cutting?
Okay,
Is this the leg, the waterfall leg?
Yeah, so the part that falls over, and we have to do one for both ends.
Yes.
And since that bevel adds kind of a weird angle, what I would do is cut a bevel on the end of this, both ends of this board, and then once that's cut, measure from that point in the length, and then do a straight cut at that point. That way you know that these are exactly the right lengths, they're gonna touch the floor, and you don't have to try to make that up when you're doing the bevel at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, you've made a few cuts with this saw now, a couple different kinds of cuts. Are you comfortable with it yet?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't feel comfortable enough to where I can hold all these myself yet, but overall I'm feeling good.
Now, if you didn't have somebody else to hold this for you, another way to do this would be to put this in place and then just take a clamp and clamp these down. It's going to stay exactly where you want it to be.
Nice. So. Okay, so I should just get a clamp.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Megan, and today I'm going to cut another bevel for you.
So this is the short leg of the L, the top. So we have to put a bevel on the end of it, and this has printing on it, which we can sand off, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, can we just flip it over?
Ta-da!
You're a magician. I
am a magician. So the length of this piece, we have to make sure that the angle is actual, not theoretical. So once we get the rest of it in place, we'll take this piece and set it in the corner and actually get the angle, mark it, and then we can come out here and cut that last miter. So next up, let's get the long section so that it has legs on it and we can actually put it in place against the wall. That means it's time for pocket holes. So this is a really simple pocket hole jig. It's got a clamp that you can add onto it, so you can just put it on the piece of wood you want, clamp it down so it stays in place. Okay. And then you use this guide to drill a hole at an angle, and then you can put two pieces together, drive in a screw through that hole, and it's a very, very easy way to join stuff, and it's almost always strong enough. Okay. This is a case where having both a drill and a driver is very handy. Okay. So that you can have the drill bit in here and the driver bit in here. You don't have to switch them back and forth. You can, but you know, it's easier.
Makes life a little easier.
So I like to hold down here and then drill in like that, so you're pushing the two things together. Yeah. How do you know when to stop? There's a collar here. Okay. And that will end up meeting this edge. Okay. So you just go in until that collar hits it, and you're done. Okay.
Okay, so Bob is gone, left me in charge. And now I need to go ahead and cut some more legs. We need to take this back to its 90 degree. We cannot cut that until we've put it inside because we need to make sure that corner is correct because my house is crooked.
Now we're ready to screw in these support legs, and we want to make sure to put some glue on the inside of these and then set them in place. Try to keep them as perpendicular as possible and the outside flush.
Yep.
Okay, and then you're just going to drive in 2 screws down through those holes, and when you do that, your body weight and all of the force is moving this direction, so the board's going to try to move this direction as well.
Okay.
So it's a good idea to like put your foot on this side of it or have something to stop it from being able to move because it's going to want to creep.
Got it.
We ran into a little bit of an issue, and it's because of the circular saw. They're not always super precise, and so that little bevel that we made didn't quite mate up correctly. Went back with the sander and tried to even it out and everything. We still have a little bit of a gap. It's okay because we can get some stainable wood filler. It'll go in there, and it'll be stained just like everything else. You probably won't notice it. Plus, we're going to go back and sand this a little bit to round it over anyway. One of the drawbacks of the circular saw is that angles can be difficult.
Yeah.
So that's just part of using the tool.
So we got down here and realized that the quarter round is really in the way. And instead of notching off all of our legs or notching in the quarter round, we're just gonna take it right on off.
So we've got one side of this done. Super simple construction. It's going to be completely hidden behind the couch. So really all you're going to see is this top surface and this exposed edge. We got to do the other side along that wall, but it's going to be exactly the same. You've got some stuff laid out here across the top, so tell me what this is about.
So I've got some cup holders out here, a wireless charging mat because somebody's phone in this house is always dying. And then I also have a regular plug down here that will be plugged in as well.
Okay, so those are all going to be surface mounted.
Yep.
On the top of this. Do you know how those are going to go in place?
Not a clue.
Okay, very easy, but we're going to switch saws. We talked about the jigsaw earlier, and that will be great for cutting these circles. So basically what you do is you drill a pilot hole, a hole big enough for that saw blade to go down into, and then once you get it in there, you can just cut out the shape you want. Yeah.
Okay.
This video is sponsored by SimpliSafe, which is fantastic because all of us around I Like to Make Stuff really like SimpliSafe as a company and as a product that we all use in our houses and here at the office. SimpliSafe is a fantastic security system that you can build out custom for your needs. You start by going to simplissafe.com/ILTMS. You build out all of the different things that you're going to need for your house, like outdoor cameras, indoor cameras, window sensors, glass break sensors, water sensors. There's a bunch of stuff and they all are really fantastic. Once you pick all the different things you need, you just check out and they will send it to your house in a box. You take that box, it'll take you about 30 minutes to set up the entire system. It's very easy and you can do it all through the app and the keypad.
Entry sensor added.
And then once you've got it set up, you just go ahead and set up interactive monitoring. And that will let the authorities know if any of the sensors are tripped when your system is armed. That's fantastic because they can come out immediately and check on you if there's a problem. Overall, it's a fantastic system. You're really gonna like it, and there's a lot of things about it that just make your life easier. Like if you were to arm the system, but you left one of your windows open because it's super nice outside right now, the system will let you know. Be sure to go to simplissafe.com/ILTMS. You're gonna get 20% off the entire system, and when you sign up for interactive monitoring, you're going to get a free month. It's an awesome system. We all love it here, and you should definitely go check it out. Big thanks to SimpliSafe for sponsoring this video.
Now that this plug is done, we're going to start on this side of the table. So to do that, we needed to measure this corner to make sure that the miter was going to be straight because these corners are not 90 degrees. So we needed to measure it and make sure that it was going to be correct. So now we're going to head outside and cut this piece off. So here we are, back at my trusty workbench. These sawhorses were culled from the fine woods of plastic. So I'm feeling a lot more comfortable today using the circular saw and getting ready to cut this wood. I'm still practicing caution, but I'm definitely feeling more comfortable.
Megan got the stain on these pieces and they are ready to be put into place. There's just one more step.
Yep.
So this piece of wood is going to be completely hidden, but we need to screw it underneath the corner pieces to lock them together and use some clamps to kind of hold it all in place. But I wanted to point out just something that'll make it easier since you're going to have to be driving in screws from underneath.
Okay.
Take this piece and start the screws on a tabletop or on the floor or something. And so get all 4 of those started, then we'll clamp it in place, then you can just drive in all the screws and it'll be done.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. And we'll just start down there.
Am I a clamp champ now?
Totally. So you built it, it's done, it looks great. How do you feel?
I feel pretty great. I feel like if I wanted to make something in the future, I would know exactly what tools to use, exactly how to use them, and most of all, feel comfortable using them. So I feel pretty great.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Now those tools are accessible, but they're not the most precise ones. So in the future, you would get even better results if you used maybe a table saw instead of a circular saw. If you used a bandsaw instead of a jigsaw. They totally work, but you know, the bigger the tool, the more heavy and weighted and precise it is, the better results you're gonna have. So we'll get to that in a future video.
Yes.
Hope you guys enjoyed this one, learning something with Megan, and be sure to welcome her to the team down in the comments. We've got tons of other types of projects that you may want to check out, and if you're not subscribed, be sure to do that as well. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. This is Megan. She's the newest.
I should have said hey. I'm sorry.
You're good.
So instead of notching these out or notching out the corner round, we're just gonna take that sucker right on off.
Yeah. Right on off.
You're just mimicking his hand positions. What in the world do you do?
I did, yes.
Yes.